नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़ाउज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Ramzan Mubarak to you all. I hope and pray that this month of Ramadan is going really well for you all. As I said in the last program, that we'll try to learn more about this holy month through this program. And today, to help us understand various dimensions of Ramadan, we have with us Mr. Sadruddin Sahu Khan, a lawyer by profession, Masters in Islamic Studies from Australian University, has passion in interfaith dialogue and has been involved in the same since 1991. President of Canberra Interfaith Forum. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And we also have with us Imam Amir Aziz, Imam of the oldest mosque of Germany, Masters of Arts in English, certified in Arabic language and Islamic Sharia, Al-Azhar University, Egypt, certified in professional studies, United Kingdom. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam. And to begin with, Mr. Sadruddin Sahu Khan, what is the basic purpose of fasting in Islam when Allah says fasting is prescribed for you as was prescribed for those before you?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allah in this particular verse, the ayat of the Holy Quran, has made it abundantly clear that all religions have fasting in one form or another. And that is why the verse itself says that it was as it was prescribed for you and those prescribed before you. But the concept of fasting in Islam is very different from other religions, and I don't mean any disrespect to any religion. In some religions, we find people, they fast until such time that God grants their wish. We have examples. We have, for example, biblical prophets. We have Prophet Isaiah. His people were having troubled times, so they complained to Allah, to God, and they fasted to remove the troubles. God told them not to fast for that purpose. He did not approve that kind of fasting. He said, you have to change your ways. Similarly, we had Buddha. He also fasted. And his purpose of fasting was to discover the purpose of life. The priests had advised him to fast, so they fast as part of the promise to God. So then he fasted if God grants his wish to find the real purpose. Similarly, we had, for example, a prophet Yunus, Prophet Jonah. He fasted to remove the warning that they will be destroyed if they did not fast, and they fasted for 40 days. And similarly, we can go on and we can talk about Prophet Musa, Prophet Moses. He fasted to receive the tablet, which is the revelation. And of course, before Rasulullah we had Isa, Prophet Jesus Christ. He fasted to advise that the man did not live by bread alone. These are just to give you some examples. Now in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains the purpose behind fasting. He says, Ayyuhalladina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba alalladina min qablikum lahallakum tattaqun. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil. So the first purpose of fasting is to develop and strengthen one's powers of self-control so that we can resist all the wrongful desires and bad habits and therefore guard against evil. And in fasting, of course, we refrain from the natural human instincts. And we know all the three human instincts: seeking food, drink, and sex. And these are the basic that are deeply ingrained in all human beings. But there are something higher than satisfying physical desires. In other words, not to give up your low desires. And in common usage, the word hawa, which is desires, is applied when where something takes a man from a high to a low state. And lustful desires of the lower self, for example, also cause a man to fall from the greatness to degradation. And he who bows before his lower desires falls into a low state. And sometimes people reach a stage where they bow uncontrollably towards the low and lustful desires. And this is, of course, it reminds, and we all know this, taking your low desires for God. When you give into your low desires over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are taking your low desires for God. And of course, and people, we need to understand that people are concerned about the surveillance by government authorities, for example. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us all the time. So we don't need, for example, a policeman down the street to watch us whether we're committing an offense or not. Now, in this context, if I'm allowed to say this, in this context, in the holy month of Ramadan, we find a verse in the Holy Quran when Allah says, "And when my servants ask you, O Prophet, concerning me, surely I am near. I answer the prayer of this supplicant when he calls on me. So they should hear my call and believe in me." So Allah takes the initiative. And Zaibai had, in fact, described it wonderfully when he said that God is holding out His hand for men to grasp. And it's such a powerful verse of the Holy Quran. Therefore, this takes us to closeness to God. And we all know this. We always recite this. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran, and this is a very famous chapter 95, where Allah says that He's created man in the best make. And of course, it refers to that which has been bestowed upon human beings exclusively. But then again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time says, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. Then we render him the lowest of the low. So you fall from that high state to the low state. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has basically, He has given us a kickstart. He has created us in that position. And we human beings, all we need to do is to maintain that. We don't have to work to reach that state. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. And so we human beings, we have to get to the stage. But the important thing is this also, in this context, is we have to look at the hawa or the low desires of others. Before we do that, we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at ourselves. So when you read the Holy Quran, a description of this condition, you should examine your own self as well and be aware that you are not bowing to greed and desire as well. So the concept of fasting, coming back to answer your question, I'm sorry I've sort of dragged it, but to answer your question, the concept of fasting has a deeper meaning with severe consequences when not carried out with the right purpose of having to guard against evil. Thank you.
Thank you. Imam Muhammad Aziz, owing to the ongoing pandemic, most of us are offering a 5 times prayer or even Taraweeh online. Can we move during the prayer to fix the technical snag in case there is any?
Like you say that those who are following or the imam who is leading the prayer, who can move? Like the people.
Well, the followers. Like, for example,
Oh,
if I am watching Taraweeh online on my computer and if any technical snag takes place.
yeah. Okay, now first of all, yeah, this is important to know that it is a very abnormal situation nowadays we are going through pandemics and all this. Otherwise, like for the worship, mosques they have been built so that people should go there, they should pray there. And but in this case, like we are also offering online Tarawih prayer from here. So in case that if the follower, those who are following, they find some problem, there are two options. First is that they should go and fix it and follow. They can because in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like what is the inference we can say? It said that in case you are praying and you come across some danger, like some kind of a poisonous insect or animal is there. So, or one example is also given that if a person is praying, he see that a small child is going towards a well or he can fall down, so he should go save him and then come back. So in this case, like when you are offering prayer online and uh, maybe many people sometimes they are collectively offering, so yes, you can go and fix the problem, come back. The other is that nowadays it is the time of highly professionalism. So we should have actually, in case like in our mosque and other places, that there should be some professional who should actually be responsible for all these things. Now, I just give you example like that uh, in case of war, the people, everybody was not praying. No, there were some people they were guarding, and that guarding is that they could pray them later on. So in case where there is individual case, then obviously they can fix. But in case there are like in Jamaat we are doing, then there should be one person who should be made responsible for this, and he should handle it and can pray later on also. There is also this one option. But in case we are individually praying in house and there is some problem, yes, we can make it, we can fix it, and then we can follow the prayer. There is no problem with that.
Okay. Sorry, one small query arising out of what you said. So, what about the person? Like, for example, if we have kept someone to take care of the technicalities, what about his prayers? I mean, can he offer that while taking care of the technicalities?
If he wants, he can. But if he wants, he can also pray later on. Like like there are many people in Haram in Khana Kaaba. There are many people they have special responsibility. So they are not offering even during the Hajj. They are not performing Hajj. They are praying. They are not praying during that prayer because they have their own specific duties. So then, when they finish their duty, they can later on complete. They can pray later on instead of following the because what is worship. Worship we should understand that it is an absolute concentration and our humility to our Lord. So in case if we are all the time fumbling with the things that it is going here and there, and then obviously the spirit of prayer it is lost. So the people who are responsible for this, for example, the people they are on security, people they are on different at that time on the mosque, or they are sometimes for the technical side, whatever they have responsibility, then they can later on pray. That is a better way, and or they can pray before that, they can pray later on, and sometimes they can even pray together. Like they can make the two, they can combine the prayer because they have special duties and their reward will be there with Lord because God knows that what they have. And that is why, like in the Quran, God has also very clear given clear example of the war of the prayer during war. That one group should stand behind, the other should pray at the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then this group will after one rakah go back and the other will come. So it is a possibility, but it is better that they can pray later on.
Okay. Thank you so much. Uh, Mr. Khan, as the Holy Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan, we see a lot of emphasis is being made on the recitation of the Holy Quran. Should we recite the Holy Quran in order to complete it, or rather, should we take this as an opportunity to study the Holy Quran and read it along with the commentary and translation? Kindly comment.
Look, I think to answer that particular question, the first question that one has to ask is, why was the Holy Quran revealed? In Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening, we say, Hedina Sirat al-Mustaqim, guide us on the right path, provide us a guide, give us a manual as to how we should be living. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then hears our prayers. And then in Surah Al-Baqarah says, Dalikal kitabu la rayba fi hudallil muttaqin. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this book, that there is no doubt in it. It is a guide. It is a guide to those who keep the duty. Now, the guide cannot benefit us if we don't know or understand what it is. And a good practical example would be if you buy any machine or any apparatus or anything like that, and you are given a manual how to operate that. And just imagine if that manual is in a language that you don't understand. What good is that manual to you? Right? So when the answer is obviously that you need to understand the guide, the manual, and the Holy Quran being a guide, it is a manual telling us how to live. It is a way of life. Islam is not just a dogma. It's not just a dogma that you just believe in Allah, you believe in that there exists a book, the Holy Quran, and you are saved. That's not Islam. The religion of Islam, as Maulana Pickle had very precisely and concisely said, that there are religions which say that you believe and you are saved. But Islam is you believe and do good deeds. That's the salvation in Islam. And in this particular one, we need to understand, it goes without saying that the Holy Quran is the basis of our ideology, and we hold proudly that above the whole world. Now, that the revealed books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our guide. And we need to understand everything before we can really, we need to understand so that we understand the guide. Now, it is a book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have sent it down to you full of blessing. So it talks about let the people of intelligence ponder over them. How can you ponder over something that you don't even understand what is written, what is the meaning? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in other places as well says that will they not ponder on the Quran, or are there locks in their hearts? So the word ponder is important. And the ponder, obviously, you have to think about it. You have to consider it. You have to understand it. Reward for reciting the Quran is one thing. And applying the Holy Quran is another. And the other thing is this, whenever we are reciting the Holy Quran, we should not focus on finishing the surah, but we should focus on thinking about what we are reciting. So it is better to read and understand and follow. And that is the purpose of the guidance. In Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's time, you know how he used to do it, and Amir Bhai will confirm this, that he used to teach them 10 verses. They not only understood them, they practiced them, the 10 verses, to make sure Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wanted to be absolutely certain they understood it. And then he would move to the other verses. So yes, there are rewards for reciting. I'm not taking that away from anybody, which is Alhamdulillah, it has got its own benefits. But I think we have to look at the purpose, the reasoning why the Holy Quran was written. Thank you.
Thank you. Imam Amir Aziz, can an imam do imamat while being seated? I mean, how does the Islamic Sharia look at it?
Okay. I would just like to add few things to Brother Sadruddin Saukhan. He has very scholarly explained the thing. There is one, and this can also be like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He has already uh, actually indicated that the time will come when Quran people they will recite Quran, but it will remain only till their neck, will not go down. So what example actually he gave it, that the people they will recite it very with a very good voice, and it will have an impact, but it will not enter in their heart. So that is what the Prophet ﷺ actually wanted to convey to the people. Recitation, it is very good. There is no doubt about it. People should recite it, and but at the same time, they should understand it, which means it will not go down their neck. Means that it will not go into their heart. They will not understand it. So unfortunately, if we see all over the world, Islamic world, where there are people in Arab world, they can understand Arabic, but in other countries where people they don't understand Arabic, they only recite or they listen to the recitation, but then they don't understand, and that is why then they have to follow the most of the time with the ulama. May and then ulama they can have their own interpretation also sometime, and they can even misguide them. So that is why it is very important that understanding Quran is very important. Now let's come to the next question about that can Imam be seated and can while leading the prayer. I personally I would not recommend it. Although, according to the Sharia, the Prophet ﷺ, what he mentioned in a hadith, that the person who has more knowledge of the Quran, he should lead the prayer. And then when he was asked that if there are two people, they have the same level of knowledge, then what? Then he said the one who knows more his sunnah, and in this way. And then at the end, the Prophet ﷺ, he answered that if then even then they are equal, then the one who is elder in age, he should lead the prayer. So that was what the Prophet ﷺ said. And there is no such mention that a person whether he can't stand and he can't lead. So it is not forbidden. We can't say that if there is a person he is an imam, wants to lead the prayer and while he is seated, but that will again not be not a common situation that every time he has to. But in case sometime there is some very scholarly person or people have love for some person, he has a good recitation, and then they want that he should lead the prayer, and if he is sitting in that position, so it is not forbidden. But in normal situation, because the prayer has been it has been taught the proper way of prayer, that how we have to stand first of all, and then we have to go into the different position. So therefore in most of the time, like it is a normal situation, imam must stand and he should perform the prayer in a normal way, so that the people they can follow him. But in case if there is only sometime chance that some person he can't stand due to some of disability, and in one or two cases he wants to lead the prayer, so it is not forbidden. We can't say that it is forbidden, but like most of the time, like it is just although it can be a very controversial topic, but here people mostly ask me that are women allowed to be an imam? So I used to tell them it is not forbidden, but it is not possible. So they said, "What do you mean by this?" I said that it is not forbidden because it's never written that they can't read. But what I would say, it is not possible because it is a 24-hour time job. I'm an imam. I can understand, the duty of an imam, that 24 hours he has to be there, and other difficulties he has to face, which for a woman it will be very difficult to follow this routine for 24 hours routine. So that is why it is not forbidden, but it is not. I would say it is not recommended that such person should permanently leave the prayer. Yes, in one two times it is okay. Then it is not like we can't say it is forbidden, but not as a permanent routine.
Okay. Thank you so much. Uh, Mr. Saduddin Saukan, can we offer Nawafil after offering Witr? Kindly elaborate.
Look, in Islam, a nafil prayer, Salatul Nafil, is a type of an optional Muslim salat, which is a form of worship. As with the Sunnah prayers, they are not considered obligatory, but are thought to confer extra benefit on the person performing them. We have, in fact, a hadith on this that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had said that you make witr your last prayer for the night. But this is just one hadith, right? And the area, the science of hadith is so wide that nowadays it could be daif, which means it could be weak, it could be sahih, but you can basically find any hadith to support any of your arguments. Right? Now, before anyone answers such a question, one has to understand the spirit and the purpose behind each prayer. As we all know that in Islam, everything is based on intention, niyyah. In fact, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself had said that on the day of judgment, your deeds will be based on your niyyah, on your intention. If you pray nafil after witr, you do not commit a sin. You don't commit a sin if you pray nafil after your witr. But we need to bear in mind the hadith where the Holy Prophet had said and spelled out in Sahih hadith that your witr should be the last prayer of the night. Now, there is nothing wrong, and this is my opinion, when the person who prays witr in the first part of the night or the middle of the night offering any nafil prayers he wants to after witr, even though it is mustaba for the last of his prayer in the night to be witr. Now, in this case, he should not repeat his witr though. You can't have two witr in the night. And there is clear hadith on this. And of course, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had said, make the last of your prayer at night witr, he also had said that there should not be two witrs in one night. So it's witr at the end of the night is better, but whoever prays witr at the beginning of the night, that is fine. It is permissible to pray after witr, but one should not repeat the witr. And that is consistent with and in conformity with the hadith. So these kind of questions, there is no yes or no answer. It is like I said, if a person prays witr, then he wants to offer nafil prayer, etc. at night, it is permissible. And it is not makruh, it is not forbidden. But like I said, the hadith, what the hadiths are clear about is not to repeat witr. You don't have two witr, and preferably that you have the last prayer for your night should be the witr. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So before I go to the next question, we have in the comments section one of the questions by our viewers, and the question is, can a woman perform the azan? Imam Amir Aziz, if you could enlighten us.
Okay, now once again, what Brother Sadruddin Khan has clarified about witr, we should understand one point which is important, that witr is not something a special prayer. It is also a nafal. So it is a nafal prayer. So whatever we pray after, after the farz prayer, whatever is obligatory for us, this is all nafal. What witr means actually is mean to make odd, something make odd. So when we say witr, so because most of the scholars, they have actually made it a kind of a different thing from other. It is not something different. It is just to make the prayer odd in the end. So it is somebody, for example, has prayed witr with the isha. So it means that now he has made his prayer odd. And if he wants to pray now tahajjud later on, then you have to make that again odd. That is what is the witr. Witr means that end prayer should be the odd. So okay, instead of 12 you should pray 11, instead of 8 you should pray 9. That is what witr means. So like it is just to make an odd. It is also a nafal prayer. It is nothing more than that. As far as the can a woman perform the azan, when a woman can lead the prayer, why not perform the azan? So, in at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, it is one of the hadiths where he said that there is a lady, she used to lead the prayer, and even her own servant, he used to perform his prayer behind her. So only thing is that yes, she can perform Adhan in case if she is in a position that she can pray. If it is a position that she cannot pray, where the prayer is not allowed or it is not suggested, permitted for the woman, then she should not. But in other way, like if she is in a position where she can perform her prayer, she can also perform the Adhan. So I mean that it is something which is not forbidden. But unfortunately, because in most of the Muslim countries, they are the countries where the male, it is a male dominant society. In Islam, if we see, Islam is not only for women. It is not only for the religious scholars. Islam is for everybody. It's not as much as Brother Saduddin Sawhan he has pointed out. But in the beginning, Quran says that it is guidance for the lil muttaqeen. So muttaqeen does not mean only the men. It means also the women. So it is a guidance. Islam is for everybody, for men, for women. But unfortunately, we can say that because Islam, most of the time, it is in the countries where the culturally women they are most of the time men they are dominant culturally, and therefore it is considered that these professions are only for the men. But if they can also perform azan, they can sometime in some situations they can also lead prayer. But because it is nowadays imamat, or we can say it has become a kind of a profession also, and it needs to be professional because everybody doesn't have the time. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ, as we say most of the time, that there was no such person who was imam, or everybody was used to do that. But at that time, actually, there was no professionalism in their life, because nowadays a lawyer is a lawyer. He needs a lot of time to concentrate on that. A doctor is a doctor. He needs a lot of time to concentrate on that. So therefore, it will not be possible for a doctor to go deep into the religion. Therefore, we need scholars that they should understand it and they should follow it. So therefore, that is why it is a kind of we can say that it is a professional age of professionalism. So therefore, but in case if a woman wants to give azan and she is in a position that she can lead prayer, yes, it is not forbidden.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Khan, would you like to add something to it?
Yes, look, I think I just need to, and of course, my brother Aziz was more learned than I am. There has been issues raised about imamat by women. Whilst there is no like a Quranic prohibition, there is no prohibition religiously about women leading prayers. But there are, in fact, and correct me, Amir Bhai, if that is, if you need to correct, that, for example, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had, in fact, in one of the hadiths had said that the best is that the after the imam you have men, then from and they come right from behind the imam. There's the best, and for women they come from the back. They form the rows from the back. So, like everything else, you can have interpretations, you can have all sorts of explanations, but I think what the point is, what is the Holy Quran does not prohibit in any shape or form about women being the imams. But look, having said that, I hasten to qualify it this way, that if it is in the house, in your own home, And if, for example, in my own younger days, I had my mother, my father was not at home. I was very young, and my mother was at home, and she was, of course, more learned than any one of us. And she led the prayers, and we prayed, but that was at our home. So coming back, there is no prohibition for that. But if you look at the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then of course I take a certain view. Thank you.
Thank you. Imam Amir Aziz, is it mandatory to sleep before offering the tahajjud prayer? Kindly elaborate.
Sorry, once again, I couldn't understand.
Yeah. So my question is it mandatory to sleep before offering the tahajjud prayer?
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, as we
Okay.
have a common notion that, if you haven't slept the whole night, those
Uh-huh.
will be counted as nawafils. That won't be counted as a tahajjud prayer. What about
Oh,
the night owls or the students?
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Actually, what is Tahajjud prayer is that which is at the later part of night, or we can say that before the Fajr prayer, it is called the Tahajjud prayer. Now, there is nothing mentioned in any of these or anywhere that it is said that you must sleep and then you have to pray tahajjud. So, but it is a common thing that obviously people at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and even just nowadays, all people who have to go for the job, they sleep early, early, and then the only way possible to offer tahajjud is to wake up before Fajr prayer and offer their tahajjud. But in case if somebody is already he's having a job, for example, there is somebody he's working at night, so he can pray tahajjud even without. No, it does this mean that first of all he should sleep and then come back and offer the tahajjud prayer? No, because it is his duty. He is still working, so he can pray tahajjud at that time. Secondly, yeah, or like most of the time nowadays, in this lockdown situation, I can understand all young people. They're all awake at night and they are having chit chats and using their mobile phone. So when it is time for the Hajj prayer, they can pray the Hajj. I give you one very good example. Um, Mother-in-law of Hazrat Amir, Razia Madad Ali Marhuma, she gave a very good example, and I experienced it. She said that people say that she used to speak in Punjabi also and Urdu. So she said that people say that we can't pray Tahajjud, while it is very easy. And then she gave the example. She said, if you are traveling and it is night time. So instead of watching the movie, you can have your own tahajjud prayer. So she said, if you are in an airplane and it is the time of tahajjud, so instead of watching something on the screen, so you can pray your tahajjud. So it does not mean that you have to compulsorily sleep before that, but because in the normal routine, people they sleep early, they have to go for the work, so it is that they have to get up before Fajr prayer and after prayer. But it is not mandatory. It is not that no, you must have to sleep because there are many people they have to work at night, so they can offer their Hajj. It is the time. It is the importance is of the prayer and not of the time that that people should sleep and then wake for it. But if you are working, you are still awake, so you can pray Tahajjud anytime. Important is to pray.
Okay. Thank you so much. Uh, there's one more question, and since we have a Imam on our show, so Imam Amir Aziz, the question is, because Islam has no hierarchy, isn't an Imam just an administrative position rather than him being a religious head?
Yeah, just like yes, we can say it is an administrative position, but so Imam has to be a religious leader or to be a religious person in this way. Not only that he should have some knowledge, but also that he should be has some practical moral to tell the people. So, for example, in the Quran, God says that, "Lima taquluna ma la taf'alun." "O people, why you say something which you don't practice yourself?" So, like in case as an imam, I say people, I tell the people, okay, people pray 5 times a day, and I am absent all the 5 times, so nobody will listen to me. This is a very simple thing because they know that this is something which is not practicable. So, as imam, which is an administrative position, it should also be as a, like he should act as a spiritual leader also, because he should be a practical, he should be a role model. And the Prophet, our holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what he did, actually, he was an administrator also. He was at the time came that when he was a ruler also, it was the time that he was a judge also. But at the same time, he was the role model for the people. Practically, he showed how to perform the prayer, how to deal with daily lives or with a daily routine life. So it is not just we can say it in an administrative position, because an administrative position then have only that the responsibilities of the administration, that let's open the mosque, people should come, should clean, like all the administration. But as a really as an imam, or it should be that he must practice what he should. He should become a role model for the people. So then people will come with him. Otherwise, just like listening to the people will have no impact on that. So we must realize that imam, the role of an imam is very important, and at the same time, it is a very sensitive job. And like Mirza Sahib, he was asked once to send two people to UK, England at that time, obviously, or some foreign country, some people as a missionary. So he said that instead of sending such missionaries, you send the books. Now, this does not mean that he said that you don't send missionaries or don't prepare missionaries. What he said that if people, those who have no role model, they themselves are not practicing Muslim. If you will send them, then people will obviously have a bad name. They will bring bad news, and that we know that many imams all over the world, they are most of the time they earn bad name for Islam also. So what it means that Imam must be a role model, a practicing Muslim, only not just an administrator, because only administration has a different meaning, but as a practicing Muslim, he should be a real religious spiritual leader.
Can I just add,
Okay.
make a few comments on this one with your leave, Gausia?
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
please.
I totally agree with my brother Amir Aziz, and I think we also need to understand that to be you have to be qualified as an imam. Imam is not simply to find somebody to come and lead the prayers at the mosque. He has to have the necessary qualifications, and the qualifications are: number one, knowledge; number two, he has to be a pious person; number three, as my brother has said, that he has to be a practicing Muslim. He has to be a role model in the society so that people are following him. And in the word imam itself is the leader. And you follow the leader. You need to have a person. So it's not just an administrative position. It is a spiritual position, and you have to have the qualities to be able to, and you get appointed. You're not just picked up down the street and say, can you be the imam at this particular mosque? So look, and I think there has to be certain criteria that you have to tick before you are appointed as an imam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Um, just a quick look if there are more questions. I don't think so. There are many. So we
If,
say Walaikum Assalam to all our viewers, saying salam to us from different parts of the world. And it's very, we all feel very delighted to have participation from almost across the globe. Thank you so much to all our viewers, and Walaikum Assalam.
can I
So thank you, Imam.
can I just I
Yeah,
forgot to
please. Yeah,
mention, and I just needed to
yeah,
say this. You know how when we were talking about you, one of the questions you asked me about the recitation and the understanding of the Quran. I
yeah.
I I I finished my contribution towards this. Is that I came across this, that when you want to talk to Allah, you you pray. And when you want Allah to talk to you, you read the Quran. So, in other words, you have to understand what is written in the Quran for you to understand what, when you're talking to somebody, you speak the same language. Thank you.
Okay, since we were about to wrap up, but we have a question right now. So the question is, and I address this question to you, Mr. Khan. The question is, Assalamu alaikum. This is from London. Why do certain countries indulge in celebrating the birthday of our holy prophet, peace be upon him?
All right, look, this question of the celebration of the birthday, it has become a cultural thing. It is a cultural thing, and you can't equate. We can't answer a question like that to say why do they celebrate it. We need to ask the question whether it should be celebrated. That's the question that needs to be asked, not why they celebrate. Because culturally, you have a lot of things under the name of Islam. There's a lot of countries, culturally, traditionally, they do things which in fact is anti-Islam. So my point in this is this, that celebrating Holy Prophet Muhammad's birthday, it was not celebrated in his own time. And whilst we have this Milad al-Nabi, and Brother Amir Aziz with his knowledge on the Arabic language, that is the Milad is obviously a celebration, and it is the celebrating the birthday. And whilst the Holy Quran says that we do not make any distinction amongst the prophets, we do not discriminate against the prophets, and so any country who's celebrating it, this is not necessarily according to the Islamic teachings. Thank you.
I would just like to
Imam
add.
Amir,
Yep.
yeah, please.
Sorry, I would just like to add that actually it is most of the time this misconception came with the equating the birthday of a prophet with the birthday we celebrate at our home. Most of the time we celebrate, and nowadays, although this thing has also started in many countries, and especially like in Pakistan, India, that people they bring cake of the, and then they cut cake for the name of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they say happy birthday. So this is obviously something which is absolutely which has no meaning, and it is just, we can say, it is addition in the religion. This is something which actually the people should not perform it, and it is not according to the Islamic injection. What is that? I would again say that this is something very interesting, that the founder of Ahmadiyya movement, he was the first person who actually requested at that time English government that they should allow to celebrate the Prophet Day, but not in this what we are doing it nowadays. What the celebration or the birthday is, that on that day we should organize a seminar. We should ask people to come together and talk about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's teachings, and about his what he did, what the change he brought in the minds of the people. So it doesn't, just to say happy birthday or to make flags and to decorate the streets. That has no meaning at all. The meaning is that, as we know, that all the big personalities in the world, when there is some special day, their birthdays or it is their death anniversary, then people they organize program, they talk about their theories, they talk about their thinking, they talk about their contribution to the world. So that is what actually it should be, that on that day we should talk to the people, we should inform the public what was the contribution Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has made to this world, what great revolution he brought to the people, not only just to decorate things and to eat, drink, and all this. It is just, I think the best way is to have a seminar, to conduct the things where people should know about the life of the Prophet, and that is how we can actually celebrate. That will be the real celebration of birthday. I just give you one example, and I think it is not going too long. My father, he was in railway, and he was in a railway station, and there were two groups in at that time. They came to him. One who wanted to celebrate the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam birthday, other was against it. And they asked about my father, what is your point of view? He said, that look, he gave a very good example. He said that if a father he has two sons, and one son is disobedient to him, and throughout the year he never accepts what father says, he never obeys him. But on the day of his birthday, he brings a big cake and he says, okay, today I'm going to celebrate my father's birthday. And there is another son who is actually poor and cannot celebrate his birthday, but he is obedient to him and listens to him throughout the year. So he said that my father asked him, tell which son father would like. Obviously, the one who throughout the year obeys him, and not the one who only on the birthday comes with a cake and then celebrates and never come again back. So he said that Prophet ﷺ is a spiritual father for us. If we don't follow his instructions throughout the year, then we don't need to celebrate his, after 1 year celebrate his birthday. So main point is to follow his instruction, to follow what Prophet ﷺ has said. That is what is more important.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Imam Amir Aziz and Mr. Saduddin Saukhan, for taking out your precious time and joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you to all our viewers and listeners for lending their ears for this program. We have this program every week in Urdu and in English. So the pending questions which we couldn't take today, we'll take them in our next session. Kindly like, share, and subscribe this channel if you find it of any information to you. We will inshallah meet again on the coming Sunday with more interesting questions. So kindly feel free to give your feedback, your suggestions, and questions for the show. So till we meet again, Ramzan Mubarak once again to one and all from the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.